That was my
love that
gunshot.
intro. I'll never get tired of that intro.
What's up, everyone?
Evening. What's up, everyone? Good evening, all you Minties, and welcome back to a special Sunday edition of Reelz Talk with your host, the amazing Amanda, and my lovely co-host, the Uncanny Omar.
I realize that this is a Sunday. I realize that, it's 8 o'clock. It's not our usual time, but we wanted to get this in before next week because next week we do have a series finale to talk about on Wednesday, another episode. I will be at Heroes Con the following few days, so I can't do a show on Friday, but I'll be here the following Wednesday in July or whatever date that is. But then we have a busy schedule again because we have like Umbrella Academy season 3. We've got Thor, whatever the heck that's called, Love and Peace, something like that. Kidding. But yeah, I want to thank everybody that can join us live. I know it was kind of last minute decided yesterday, but I did tell people on the live stream, and I want to thank my wonderful co-host for having a busy schedule and still having the time to do this. So we are going to be talking about a couple of shows today. I'll put it down a little. Oh, thank you so much, David. Happy Father's Day to you. Happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there. Hey, Mark.
Yeah, no matter what kind of a father you are, happy Father's Day, guys.
I mean, there are a couple of fathers I don't know if I'd in comics that I don't know if I'd wish a happy Father's Day to.
Like Homelander?
Homelander up there probably is one. But so we are going to be talking about The Boys episode 4, Miss Marvel episode 2, Obi-Wan Kenobi episode 5, and then a few things that have dropped as far as like movie news, like the Thunderbolts movie, which Amanda and I have casted, and it's a lot of fun. We'll see how close we were once we get there. Thank you, Louise. Seriously, thank you everybody for joining us. Happy Father's Day, and hopefully this is the end of the Father's Day celebration. You're celebrating it with us. There wasn't really a good father moment in any of these. Well, no, Kamala and her dad had a good moment with the history.
And, Obi-Wan, that, like, father-like figure that he's been to maybe Leia. I mean, I guess there were some good moments there. He left her alone with Haja and said, Haja, take care of her. I got to do something. So maybe that was a good father moment.
This reminds me of a really good quote about Magneto taking care of his kids. It's actually a quote from an unknown author, and it says, "It doesn't matter who my father really was. All that matters is the way that I remember him." I love that quote. It's such a good quote because we all have our flaws, but it doesn't matter because what matters is the way that our children remember us.
Exactly.
It's a really powerful quote. And the reason I think of Magneto is because I think it was Jeff Johns had posted it like on a pinup or something of his Magneto's pinup. But yes, we are going to be talking about 3 different shows. So spoilers for each of these shows in case you haven't seen them. We do like a deep dive, give you a quick summary because we got 3 shows to talk about and then other things to talk about. So
we're going to be quick so we can get through this because there's a lot of shows.
It is. But it was the roller coasters of, what the hell? And
so which one are we starting with? Roller coasters.
The boys.
Why don't we start with we'll start with Obi-Wan.
I think we should start with Miss Marvel.
Okay, that's
But you know what? Ladies' choice, because it is Father's Day. Go ahead.
No, it's Father's Day, so obviously you should get to choose, Mr. Father.
The one time a year I get to choose. Okay, yes. I think we should do Miss Marvel. Let's do Miss Marvel because I'm ready to talk about that show. So in the ticker, I'm going to put what we're talking about and spoilers again.
I'm going to change our background too. So creepy Obi-Wan's not staring at us.
Not staring at you. He's just like overlooking me. So Miss Marvel episode 2, spoiler starting now. Picking up where the last episode left off, we are moving really quickly compared to most MCU shows. I want to say that like WandaVision took a little while to get to where we thought it was going to go. Holy crap, Moon Knight felt like it took forever. What If never really went anywhere for me, but
it was all one shot. So
Winter Soldier, it seems like they had like a slow build up. But with Miss Marvel, it's just like, no, let's go ahead. Let's talk about her origins. Let's go ahead. We're going to call her Power the Hard Light. It was really interesting to see it move as fast as it did, but still felt like, I want more. But that's really quickly where I'm going to go with that. Amanda, why don't you fill us in on a quick plot synopsis of episode 2, please?
Well, so real quick. So where, like Omar said, this really picks up right where the last episode left off, after pretty much right after Avenger Con, and she's now discovered she has these powers, but she deems hard light because whenever the light emits from her hands, it becomes hardened or crystallized. So she calls it hard light. And she all of a sudden builds this new confidence. We see a really, really different. Is it the
episode 5? It's episode 5. My bad. Go ahead.
What's your point?
I'll fix it. Thank you so much.
I don't read what he does. I don't copy edit.
Okay, first of all, that is throwing me way under the bus. I would not have done that to you.
Okay, anyhow, so she has a lot of confidence going into this episode. We see a different Kamala Khan as she walks through the high school for the first time since she's discovered her new powers because of her bracelet, or what she thinks is only because of her bracelet. We later find out that it's from within, but when she's in the hallways, she even corrects that gym teacher who mispronounced her name in the first episode. He called her Kamali or whatever he called her, and she goes, "It's Kamala." And he's like, huh, yeah, okay, like, yeah, really? And of course, she even talks to a lot of people. She has that cool little moment with the two guys in their the guy in the basketball, the two girls in their AirPods. And I love her note, like, the whole purpose of AirPods, you don't have to be that close together. Very on point. And so it's, obviously Bruno knows about her powers. Her other friend does not know about her powers yet. So she's been, and she's still kind of keeping it under wraps. She won't tell her what's going on. But of course, all her confidence about her new powers and anything like that, she doesn't yet to get to own it herself yet, because she's keeping it quiet. And instead, Zoe, her nemesis, if you will, especially in terms of getting YouTube followers, she is the one, because she happened to be there at the same time and got hit by Mjolnir, and then Kamala saved her life. She kind of takes all of this hype and fame, and even names her actual superhero name and calls her Nightlight, which is an awful superhero name, by the way, for this character.
It reminded me of the joke with what was his name? Spider-Man and Spider-Man 2, Night
Monkey.
Night Monkey or something like that.
Yeah,
it kind of reminded me of that joke.
It's Night Monkey. It's the French version of Spider-Man. Yeah, like that. You don't let other people name you as a superhero. You gotta have to do it yourself. So because Zoe, obviously because someone saved her life and she's still alive, she decides to host a party. And of course, Kamala and her friends like, we are not going to Zoe's party until a cute, hot senior named Kamran shows up, and Zoe invites him to the party. And now all of a sudden, Kamala wants to go to the party. So this is very much like what I love about Ms. Marvel. It gives you very teen comedy drama vibes right from the get-go. I mean, there's obviously, we're dealing with her powers and everything like that, but there's still that element of it's a teen drama. Like, underneath it all, it's about her being a teenager, right? And
Cameron plays a character in the he is from the comics. As a matter of fact, his powers are very much like Kamala's powers in the TV show, in the comic book.
Hard light kind of powers?
The hard light type of powers, yes.
Yeah. And so she, so obviously she doesn't have control over her powers. So there's a really great scene where she's doing a training montage with Bruno, right? Bruno is trying to help her out.
Oh God, I love me a training montage.
Me too. Who doesn't? Had some great music behind it. They even have a little homage to Black Widow's death scene where she's about to fall off of what you believe is a ledge, and she's like, "You have to let me go," but she just drops down and hits the floor, like, "Huh." And it was because it's the exact line that Black Widow says in Endgame.
I will say that that was a little in poor taste if I wasn't thinking like a 14, 13-year-old. Like, when you're that age, poor taste doesn't really exist, right? When you're that age, you're rebellious. So
know
a
what
joke
happened.
like that about somebody dying and losing their life is not above you. Just so it made sense to me in the sense of the writing and the character. This is a really good point from Asif, and I want to touch on this really quick. So he's saying, so in Miss Marvel episode 2, Kamala goes to a party where she is intentionally given alcohol, despite knowing it's against her religious values. It was malicious for the sake of liberalism. Okay, so I'm learning a lot through this show.
Yeah.
Like the whole partisan thing. I had no idea. Like there are a lot of things like in the history of
The partition, yeah.
Thank you. I thought that was really cool that they included all of that and the history behind, because I mean it's things we don't really learn here as far as like in the US. It's not part of the world history that we've learned because there's just so much history. You can only learn so much. Now, I don't know about the religious beliefs and alcohol there, but I mean, I went to Catholic school and I'm sure it's different, but I also went to parties with alcohol. Should I have taken it? Absolutely not. Would I get mad at my kids for doing it at that age that I was? Yes, absolutely. But I don't know. I mean, I think it's just things that happen at parties when you're a kid. And if you're crushing on somebody, you want to do everything you can to impress them. I mean, that's just the way it is. And
she didn't know. The guy told her it wasn't alcohol. There wasn't alcohol. He tricked her, right? And then she was like, and then she thought she was drunk, which I thought was cute because she thought, right? Because she was like, there's no alcohol in this, right?
So he's following up on this. So if the white guy had simply said it was alcohol, would she have drank it? It was the deceit and disrespect of her religious values and choice to willingly reject the drink. Like I said, I'm not familiar with that aspect or that part of the religion. I'm sure a lot more people are. Yeah. But to me, it just felt like a kid being asked to go to a party and there's alcohols at these type of parties. And it is funny that she was rebellious. I do like her character. I like the fact that she's like, she just got in trouble for the whole Avengers Con. And now, she's being a little more honest so she can go to this party because of this kid.
Yeah. And I'm surprised her mom let her go after she sneaked out of the house to go to Avenger Con and went behind their back and disrespected them like that. I was surprised that she was like, okay, you can go. I was honestly very surprised by that.
Okay, so so there is a secret that this guy is holding but before we talk about that, there was something that we learned when she's starting to ask about the bracelet that belongs to her family, and we learn a little bit about that. This is where we kind of get like a whole history lesson on where they lost. I'm so sorry. Who was it that I only had the time to watch it one time. Who was it that they lost? Which family member did they lose during that time when he's telling the story?
It was her great grandmother. So not her. So it was her mother's. It was her mother's grandmother. There's a story during the partition. So when they're at the table and they're having a discussion about it, her father is telling the story to her brother's fiance, and of course her, more about what her grandmother went through, because her grandmother, they were escaping the partition, and she got lost in the crowd as they were trying to get on the train. And then she was carried by some type of light, is what she told everyone, and then made it onto the train. Her mother was lost, and they just kind of, never found her. So we can assume at that point that her mother, in fact, probably had the same powers as Kamala, because we know from her training montage with Bruno, he somehow has this technology, the app that can like show what's going on in her body. Which, where's that app, and why don't we have it? And it shows that the light's coming from within her. So they're still going with the route. Whether or not she's Inhuman, we don't know. Whether or not she's an X-Men, it's an X power, whatever it is, we haven't figured it out yet. Or it could be a combination of something else that's inherited, but it's inside of her. It's not just the bracelet gives her power, and when she takes it off,
which will lead to a lot of theories, and I want to hear what everybody else thinks about it.
Exactly.
So, we get a little bit of a flashback between that, so we know that the power is within her. So that's good, right? A lot of people are like, no, we're not getting the Terrigen Mist, and now they're giving her powers through her bracelet, but we find out that it's actually in her. So
Yeah.
how's she tying to the Marvels? That's going to be pretty interesting.
It is. So it's like the bracelet is the Terrigen mist.
You need to stop that, Project Mike. Ain't no damn app on no Android.
Oh, is it standard on Android?
Get out of
Okay.
here with that junk. So yeah, this episode felt really, really smooth. Like I thought when she's at towards the very end at the party, like when she is with that boy and she has to rescue him.
At the festival, yeah.
What were they calling her? Nightlight? Night.
They're calling her Nightlight because that's what Zoe called her.
So the people that are following Zoe are calling her that. Look, it's Nightlight, right?
Yes.
But before that, Zoe got a pretty good interrogation, good cop, bad cop interrogation scene too, trying to figure out about Kamala. So I thought that was good.
By our damage control folks, which was Kevin Feige's idea to do that crossover. He's the one who actually wanted the agent from in Spider-Man No Way Home to then again appear in Ms. Marvel. So that was, of course, Feige's idea to kind of have that crossover. But yeah, they're trying to figure out, and it's interesting their line of questioning to Zoe to figure out if she knows Nightlight, which she doesn't know it's Kamala. She doesn't know. She just knows it's a person. And they're trying to get her to give them like what her ethnicity is. And somehow they managed to get down the road that they believe she's part of the Muslim community. I don't know how they were able to go from point A to point B and assume that like during the questioning, but they did.
They're really good at their jobs.
They're really good at their jobs. But they
what the hell was that kid thinking taking selfies while hanging out the window? I think that's the world we live in, right? Don't we see like isn't there like a trend of people taking selfies at places they shouldn't be and they end up falling to
anything
their deaths?
For the gram, Buzz, anything for the gram.
Yeah.
That's what people do these days.
Roberto Rodriguez already hating on Ms. Marvel. Since when do children get interrogated without an adult present? That's very NYPD of Disney Plus. Dude, that happened in the state of Kentucky. I swear. I'm not going to reveal any names. But a girl I went to school with, this is effed up, was murdered by her boyfriend. He admitted to it. But because he was underage and didn't have like a lawyer present, his father got him out and they moved to Florida. He got away with murder because the cops interrogated him without a lawyer being present. So, I mean, there's some truth to this, but so when you say that, it reminds me of that messed up case, man.
Yeah.
Man, that was oh my gosh. I was in 8th grade when that happened. She was young.
Yeah. Thinking about that, when Peter Parker, because isn't he like technically his birthday's in like?
Well, technically he's in high school. Well, because of the blip.
He's still young, but his birthday's in the summer, so technically he probably would have only been 17 still, so he would have been underage too.
I like that his birthday's in the summer though. Do you celebrate it?
No, but I would if I could. I don't celebrate Sarah Gellar's birthday either, but I know it's April 14th. But I loved.
It's true, Mark. It's true.
Cameron is an adorable addition to this cast. I love that they've created the love triangle. It is clear that Kamala, like, she sees Bruno as a friend. Bruno clearly sees her more as a friend, or he wants her to see him more than just a friend, right? And I love I
didn't get that in the first episode. I thought she was crushing on him.
No, I always thought he was crushing on her.
Well, there was that one scene where she was looking at him in the first episode, but he didn't look at her.
Mutual. I thought it was mutual. But
he didn't look at her back, so I was expecting. But then again, they're kids, so flirting back then is a little bit different than when you're a little bit older.
And he's a dorky, and he's kind of like insecure, unsure of himself.
I really thought they were gonna send him to like the Wakanda. In the comics, he got accepted to the Wakanda. Oh my gosh, what is that?
Something? I don't know.
Yeah, it was like some kind of experience. I think they had a good chance to tie it into the whole Wakanda thing, but okay, I'll take
Caltech.
Whatever. Yeah, sure. It's just as good.
Yeah, just as good. It's like when Peter went
to Caltech.
Yeah. But
so
I like
the
that.
series wraps up with a little twist at the end with her new friend that you thought was into her, but then if you watch enough movies, if you watch enough TV shows, you know something else is wrong or something else is going on with this particular character of Cameron. So
Yeah,
he picks
especially
her
how
up
he
in a
took
car, which
interest in
ties it
her.
into the first episode, right? Because she can't drive, so he's got a good reason to show up in a car and be like, "Hey, you want to
Beautiful,
ride with me?"
his sweet ride, yeah, which is of course enticing for her, and he's going to take her to learn to ride. And he is attractive, and he clearly knows he's attractive, and he uses that to get close to her, which is what he needs to do because apparently his mother knows something about Kamala that she doesn't know clearly. And we see like throughout the episode, this is definitely an ancestor thing. It's definitely has a lot to do with her ancestors, much like Wakanda does, or Black Panther does, where she starts seeing these visions. It used to be like the first vision she had, right, last episode in season of episode 1, it was like these ghost-like figures around her, right, when she had that weird vision, and then the powers just kind of emerged. Kind of looked very much like the ancestral plane from Black Panther, etc. But now it's like she's seeing just this one woman. Is it her great grandmother? I'm assuming that she's seeing in these visions that one woman that she's like when she kind of like she did pass out at the dinner table when she had that image of that woman.
That's what you see. That's what you see.
Yes.
I'm thinking.
Oh my God! Stop! Whatever.
Terrence Howard walks out of there in the War Machine armor. I'm in, baby. That's awesome. I like this episode. Let's go ahead and rate it. For anybody that has seen Miss Marvel episode 2, by all means, please rate it out of 10. And then we'll come back to a couple of theories that we have and maybe talk a little bit about some of the Easter eggs that we found in here.
Don't forget your Bon Jovi piece. I mean, that alone should.
Well, that was an Easter egg I was going to mention. Come on now.
Oh, go ahead.
We had a couple of Easter eggs in there. A lot of teen comedy Easter eggs and tropes that we found in like John. Oh my God! Why did I almost say John Waters?
No, God, has he done a teen comedy?
Not Pink Flamingos. John Hughes. Films. Oh my gosh! Why did I say almost say John Waters? Okay, so for me, this is still a fun show. I think it's geared more towards kids, but there's nothing wrong with adults enjoying those type of stories. I mean, there's a whole genre of YA,
that people
go back to Harry Potter, and there I think more adult fans of Harry Potter than there were kids reading Harry Potter. So for me, this was a good episode. I can't remember what I gave the first one. Maybe an 8.5, but I'm going with 8 on this episode. What about you, Panda?
I was going to say 8 too. I think it was a strong episode. There's a lot of moments I enjoyed. I think Kamala is adorable. I continue to just grow to love her with both these episodes. I love the characters around her, everyone, her parents, even when she's like her and her friend are sitting in the mosque and the leader, whenever she interrupts them, and just his comment about, interrupting his sermon or his lesson, but then he decides to mention, hey, don't forget mosque board elections are happening. And everything about it just is fabulous because it does a really good job of interweaving her personal life with what's going on in this little superhero. I don't know I'm still not sure what our bad guy is going to be. Is it damage control at the end of the day? Because that's what it seems like. She's trying to run from damage control. It looks like that could be like a thing, but I don't see a clear, like, here's our big bad, unless it ends up being her great grandmother at the end of the day. I don't know, but I'm really interested to see where this is going because it is a really interesting storyline that we're getting to see. And I like her moment when she talked about trying to see if she could have Ant-Man powers, and she's like, why not? We're both charming and we both look younger than we actually are. And I was like, yes! Oh my God, Disney did such a good job.
I knew you would like that.
I love that line.
In the comics, she's obsessed with Wolverine, and of course we can't do that yet, which would have been fun. There were a lot of Easter eggs, like I said, a lot of John Hughes throwbacks, but even things like Mean Girls in here.
When they did, like, they named the different areas at the festival, like the Illuminati aunties and stuff.
Illuminantes. I like the whole conversation about Kingo, even though I did not like that character. I thought that was interesting that like her mom had a crush on Kingo, and then Cameron's, was it his grandmother had a crush on
his dad.
Kingo. Yeah, and it's all the same guy, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Because we know, because we watched the movie, or
Yeah.
people that have.
I like when we're in on the joke because we
I
know
still think we might get a twist in here, and I
The
still think
Eternals?
they're not mutant, but I'm thinking Inhuman.
We've
I'm still
introduced them.
gonna say that would be a big twist for a lot of people, because everybody's like, oh, this is stupid. Yeah. I've never been a huge Inhuman fan, just like I've never been a huge Eternals fan. So to me, I was like, okay, whatever. You can change the character's origin. I'm okay with that. If it makes for a better TV show, sure. Visually, and obviously you can't have a character that stretches, more than one character when you're going to be having a Fantastic Four movie right around the corner.
Yes.
So I get the changes, but I think if they make the twist that she's still Inhuman, and the whole Terrigen Mist is related to that bracelet and her great grandmother.
Mm-hmm.
Her great grandmother's Medusa. Anyway,
oh God, I loved when she kept trying to talk to her grandmother too, and her grandmother just like, "Where's your brother? I want to talk to you."
Oh man,
like, that was great.
She's got like a small hints of like a little bit of dementia there.
Yeah, and she clearly did not want to talk about her past, but it was just funny how she, just sweet, because that's how I think it would be with talking to anyone's grandma.
So all 10 rings theories are out the door. Maybe. We don't know yet because of the ending of Shang-Chi. That left the door open to something. We just don't know what it is yet.
Yeah.
Turn in my geek card because I got John Hughes and John Waters confused. Hey, I love John Waters films though, and John Hughes. I think if Cameron is showing up, they have to bring in the Inhumans, right? Because they kind of switched their powers. Like I said, Cameron in the comics had Kamala's powers that she does in the TV show, very similar to that.
Has those powers though?
I don't know, or they did a switcheroo. What if he stretches? It's going to be interesting to see where they go. I'm not going to make any assumptions because otherwise we're going to get Mephisto in every damn episode, and I'm not going to do that. So, 8 out of 10, a lot of fun. Oh my gosh, that little girl, and I'm so sorry I don't remember her name. The actress that plays Kamala, Iman
Lewis, is that her name?
Nope, it's something else.
Vellani, sorry, Iman Vellani.
She melts my heart. She is like, she's the type of daughter I want to raise. Like, she is a big nerd. She's into comics. Like, she taught, like, in interviews that I saw behind the scenes, she is adorable. First of all, she knows her freaking comics. Like, she was calling out Kevin Feige on the whole Inhumans thing. She was upset about that. Oh my gosh. I saw her play the Marvel MCU trivia that was really difficult. Like, name the movie, name the quote. She was killing it. But she also was a fan of the comic book. She was cosplaying as Miss Marvel long before there was a Captain Marvel movie. This is like a dream come true, and I love hearing stories like this. So good for her. It's a cute show, and I can't wait to see where this goes. It's already better than, I don't want to jinx it, but it's already better than most of the Disney Plus Marvel shows. And it takes, and it was and it's a kid's show, a show geared towards kids. So
it's one of my favorites. So I wanted to hit Rodimus Prime Rib. I love that name. He said, exactly, we still have nothing that connects the 10 ring ending to the current Phase 4 stories. But if you think about it, none of the Phase 4 stories so far, minus WandaVision and Doctor Strange, and of course, a little bit of Loki, I guess, would connect there too because of the multiverse. But nothing really has connected. What about Eternals? Why is no one talking about the massive celestial that disappeared in the sky and took over? Like, you think that'd be on the news report somewhere, but it's not mentioned in like Hawkeye and things like that. I think
because we don't have a clear timeline yet, right?
Yes.
We have a sort of a timeline at the beginning of Eternals, but we don't know how long Eternals took, and then the ending where it was. The smart thing about doing that is that they can throw things in left and right and say, "Oh, that took place before this." We did that movie before we had thought about this, and they're constantly changing things, right? I'm sure the original idea for No Way Home was not to have all 3 Spider-Man show up. But when the opportunity came to have all the actors back, they were like, yeah, screw the idea of Kraven the Hunter. We'll give him his own movie. We're getting Toby and we're getting, what's his name? Thank you, Andrew Garfield back, right? So that's what it is. Like, sometimes they just kind of like comics too. It happens in comics all the time where they get a creator and they're like, okay, sorry, Chris Claremont, deuces, you're out. But Ed Brubaker's the hot selling cake right now. So he has taken over Uncanny X-Men. Sorry you don't get to wrap up your Savage Land storyline. It sucks for us fans that love Chris Claremont, but then, it's a hot commodity when you get Ed Brubaker in.
Exactly.
So like I said, it happens in comics. It happens in entertainment, TV shows. Let's move on to, do I want to talk about the show that I enjoyed the least or
We have to.
Okay.
We have to.
God bless. Okay.
Well, we're going to talk about his power a lot and about the fact that he clearly has an issue with his power being his downfall. Or wanting to
let's talk about Obi-Wan. Let me change this really quick in case you have not seen Obi-Wan episode 5. Put us on mute or come back when we talk about the boys. Let me change this really quick.
If you've also seen the boys, you haven't seen the boys, you might want to go watch all these shows, put us on mute, and then come back and rewatch.
Come back. Or just watch it on replay.
Whatever you want to do.
Obi-Wan episode 5.
Obi-Wan Kenobi. Episode
the
5.
Ultimate episode. We are in the 3rd act of the show. We finally get to see something that we've been wanting to see since the series was mentioned and since it was leaked that Hayden Christensen was coming back to the show. And I was really happy with that. I was happy with the opening. And the opening is pre-episode 2.
There we go.
Pre-episode 2, right? Because he doesn't have his robot hand. So this is Padawan Anakin and his master Obi-Wan Kenobi
on fighting.
And then you see like a dark side of Anakin. Now the interesting thing, and I don't know how I feel about this yet, is that this is a 40-year-old actor playing the role of a 19-year-old. Now we see this on TV shows like 90210 in the 90s. It happened all the time. But in an age where Disney is really proud of this de-aging effect that they've used in movies, I'm really surprised that they didn't do it here. Now, it could be 2 reasons, right? Reason number 1, damn, Hayden Christensen looks good.
He still looks older than 19.
Yes, absolutely. Maybe the producers were like, no, let's, he looks good enough. That's fine. And reason number 2 is the reason I don't want to think it is.
They forgot.
No, that's reason number 3. Reason number 2 is we're going to cut the budget on Star Wars TV shows.
That's what I think.
And of all the TV shows to cut the budget on, you're going to cut it on one of the most beloved characters one of the most beloved actors returning to play a character he hasn't played in 20 years. You're going to cut the budget here? I want to feel like that's not the reason. But then I'm looking at like this compared to Mando, and the graphics are a little wonky. And of course, that might have something to do with the directing too. Or maybe it was rushed out. I don't know. But regardless, it was really weird. It was almost out of place that you had this 40-year-old playing a 19-year-old. And okay, but it was cool, right? It really foreshadows the episode where Anakin has the upper hand and Obi-Wan keeps his cool even after losing his lightsaber. And they keep going back and forth to this flashback. So in this episode, we have Ice Cube's son back, because that's a thing with Star Wars, man. Remember when I said that there was a rumor in episode 2, Attack of the Clones, that NSYNC was going to be in it? And I was like, thank God they didn't do that, because that really would have taken me out of that movie. It feels like with what's that dude's name? Kumail
Nanjiani.
Yeah, when you throw him in here, then you have Ice Cube's son, and I'm so sorry, I don't mean to diss him. He was really good in Straight Outta Compton. I don't know his name, but whenever you throw actors like this into a show or Flea, you take me out of the show, and I'm like, it stops becoming an experience or something, and I'm like, that's Flea. And the same thing happened in Back to the Future too, but that character kind of fit, or the actor fit that character then. Okay, So let's talk about this particular show. So in the aftermath of the last episode, which had the Scooby-Doo escape, as we like to call it, they took off, and now Reva is after Obi-Wan, and not a lot happened really in this episode. It was kind of like their last stand. Leia crawls into a little fan hole, and she's like, I can fit in there. Give me a ladder. Cool. Obi-Wan's like, I'm going to go talk to Reva through this metal door and bond with her. Now, this is when they have their moment, right? Like, this is when Obi-Wan's like, oh, man, Reva, you know, like, I'm sorry you were there. You were a youngling that I didn't know. And she's probably wondering, like, where the hell were you? And Obi-Wan's like, I was on a secret mission. Me and my giant lizard were being shot at by this 6-armed robot. That was episode 3, right? I think.
Yes.
Is that what happened in episode 3?
Yeah.
Okay. So they have this moment, and I thought this is where they were going to go. But I thought they would do it in small, like, increments, like, okay, we're going to get to the point where Reva is going to turn on Vader and side with the good guys. Like, we kind of saw it coming, especially with the start of the first episode, you know, focusing on the killing of these young kids by Anakin and Order 66. So, I didn't know it was going to be one conversation, and then the next scene is, you know, him turning himself in. But this is also after the sacrifice of what is her name? The character.
Tala.
Yeah. So after she died, very similar to Obi-Wan's sacrifice in A New Hope. So I like that, right? Like, she was like, hey, you all get away. I'm going to stay behind and sacrifice myself with my giant robot. I like the giant robot, but I also like practical effects. But both of them get killed. So yeah, Obi-Wan's like, I'm going to go turn myself in. And then he has this talk with her, like Reva, right? She's like, hey, why don't I help you kill Anakin Skywalker? And she's like, I don't need any help. I can't remember the line. It's something ridiculous, like, you don't know what I can do. Obviously, killing Anakin Skywalker's not on your priority list, because is this the first chance you're getting at killing him? All right, so, you know.
The closest she's ever been to him now. I guess that's the point, is her whole, she's motivated by revenge. She's clearly, even though she's on the dark side. I mean, she's turned to the dark side because she's using revenge to fuel her power and her abilities, which is much like what Obi-Wan does, and anyone who's part of the.
Have you seen her in what was Idris Elba? Luther? Oh, she is so hot in Luther. And she was also in Game of Thrones. She's a good-looking lady.
She was also very hot in Game of Thrones.
Because it was.
And I love this, you know, seeing her, and then you got Pedro Pascal and Mandalorian. I mean, yeah, they're just taking Game of Thrones actors and throwing them in shows nowadays.
Now, where the hell was I? Now I'm thinking of the Sand Snakes, damn it.
I'm thinking about Reva and teaming up.
So yeah, so Reva decides to, you know, let Obi-Wan escape. There was this badass moment where Darth Vader comes in and swinging his big lightsaber around, and he stops. And I like that. I like that he stopped the ship with the Force. That's the Vader that I wanted to see. That reminds me of the Vader Down story in the comics, which is now canon, right? And if it's canon, then he should be a lot more powerful than stopping that ship. Because when the other ship escapes, he should be like, okay, I got the other one too. What are you going to do now, bitches? I'm Darth Vader. But he lets the other ship escape. I don't know why. I guess to fit the story. And this is when Reva takes her chance to literally stab him in the back. Now, I did like this. I like that Vader was just like treating her like a freaking ant, like a bug. Yeah. He wasn't fighting back. He was just like, pff, pff. I like that, because if she had stood up against Darth Vader, then I would have had a bigger issue with that, right? Like Reva coming in and betraying him, and he's just like swatting it away like she's nothing, right? I did like that. I thought that was cool. The fighting in that scene showed the difference, like the contrast in the fighting with Anakin and Obi-Wan in the flashbacks. The fighting between Reva and Darth Vader, felt a little how do I put it? Not as glamorous and almost a little like, ugh, that is choreographed really bad.
Yeah, unlike the fight scene on Coruscant in the flashbacks, which I thought was well choreographed.
Right, I thought that was well
I
done.
enjoyed that battle with Anakin and Obi-Wan, but yeah, the fight scene between Reva and Darth Vader was not well done, choreographed well.
So, and this is when Vader, and I'm glad he did this because this is very comic book Vader thing to do, was like, he's known all along that he was going to be betrayed.
He knew who she was.
Now, here's my issue, though, is like, how? How would you know? How would, and maybe I'm nitpicking, I don't know, but it's like, how would Anakin Skywalker know that she was a youngling that he left for dead? Obviously, he stabbed her, which he sucks at apparently killing this woman, this lady, when he stabbed her, right? And then he stabs her again, almost in the same spot as he did when she was a child. And he's like, by the way, the Grand Inquisitor's here. And the Grand Inquisitor's like, what's up? Remember me?
The canon's not done.
You know, I wasn't dead because I'm in the next Star Wars show. What's up now?
And what kills me is they leave her for dead. And he has that line about revenge, giving you the will to live. And she's pretty much, you know, she's hit in the same spot that she hit the Grand Inquisitor, and they leave her to die. But why would they leave her to die? Why did they just kill her off?
Why didn't they kill her?
If he can survive it, she'll survive it, right?
Why didn't they kill her in the last? Like, unless there is a Reva spin-off TV show, which I assume maybe this is why she's coming back, right? I assume this is the plan.
No, I think it's because she's not done. I think she'll show up.
Because I think there will be a spin-off series because we have one episode left. And nobody, I don't think many of us come to the show to watch. Oh, it's the story of Anakin Skywalker, Obi-Wan Kenobi. Oh, and Reva. Like, I think most of us come back to the show to be like, can we get that? Can we get that fight, please? Can we get that fight between Obi-Wan and?
I don't want to fight. I want them to actually talk. I want them to see each
other. I mean, there's going to be that, right? So of course, I feel like they're setting up a spinoff, so they want some kind of like empathy for the character. But I don't think it was done really well because she wasn't a very well-liked character to begin with. There's a lot of things that still don't make any sense. How in the hell does she know Anakin Skywalker is Darth Vader? How is she putting two and two together going, oh, that guy that almost killed me, that is totally the guy in the suit?
Well, so the only thing I could think of is if she played dead and he was there, if someone called him Lord Vader, because remember, he said rise Lord Vader whenever he had anointed him as part of the dark side, right?
Who besides the Emperor had called him that at that point, though?
I don't know.
I don't think any of the stormtroopers knew.
They may have if the Emperor told them when they, or something like that, or he could have told them he's Lord Vader himself. It could be one of those many things. You're gonna have to stretch your belief on that, is what I think.
I've been stretching my belief in this show the whole time.
I don't know. I don't know if they're keeping her alive for a spinoff. I think they're keeping her alive because she has this one last shot in the last episode because she finds a communicator that Haja conveniently dropped.
That was so.
That talks about the boy on Tatooine, not letting Anakin find out. I think this is her last ditch effort to not only she still hates Obi-Wan.
That made me mad. The most important secret in the galaxy, and you're gonna leave a recording, and you're gonna give it to some guy that you just met. Oh man, I was like, who is writing this? Like that's not. There are other ways that you can. If you're going to go that route, there are other ways of approaching it.
Yeah.
Not, hey, I'm going to leave a recording and give all the secrets of the galaxy away. The most important secret that they should have kept away from everybody. The whole point of separating the two children was to keep it hidden from the Emperor. And I guess Darth Vader. So yeah, I mean, and then that's where the episode ends on a cliffhanger that now Reva knows there's a small child and then there's a shot of Luke Skywalker and Tatooine.
Taking a nap, or maybe not a nap. Maybe he's just in bed at night, dreaming of electric sheep.
He's dreaming of a better show.
Or a better show. Yeah. It was. I mean, I still think that they are keeping her alive. I don't know if she'll have a spin-off, but someone in the chat said that apparently Ewan McGregor hinted at a season 2 during the Star Wars celebration. So if that means that this is not a limited series or a mini series, and that we are in fact going to get a second season, it may not be a spin-off, but she may show up again.
Okay, I mean, if that's the case, then everything, most of the things I have issues with, I think get a pass. Then you're just padding things along.
Not the de-aging, because they de-aged Ewan McGregor, and they almost look the exact same age in that.
They could have gone the Fast and the Furious route and de-aged Vin Diesel by casting another actor that looks nothing like him.
Yeah, well, that's what you used to do back in the day. You just casted someone to look.
Back in the day, they did the last Fast and the Furious movies, and they got money.
Yeah, so I mean, yeah, that's I think that's where my biggest
Matt, Stretching Beliefs goes all the way back to The Empire Strikes Back. Luke Skywalker, same name as Anakin, with Anakin's relatives. That never bugged anyone. Well, now there's a lot more open there, though, right?
Yeah.
Like, now we have everyone kind of, like, all the important key players kind of know that there's this little girl that may be force sensitive. There might be a boy in Tatooine that's force sensitive. It's going to be interesting if they wrap this series up in one episode, or if they leave it open for season 2, how they answer a lot of the questions that people have issues with. And I think sometimes being a Star Wars fan, and I'm not even the biggest Star Wars fan, but just like watching movies, it just doesn't make any sense to doing some major retconning to key players in A New Hope and the actual original trilogy.
Yeah.
Clone Wars has really spoiled me with an actual Clone Wars was excellent, and Rebels was excellent. I haven't seen the new one, the Bad Batch. I haven't seen that yet. Do they proofread these scripts? Yeah, I have a lot of issues with it. And you know what, though? Like, I don't think this is one of the better episodes, which is sad to say about this series. At least to me. What did you think about the episodes? I know we have a lot of issues with it, but what did you think about the episode itself?
No, I mean, overall, I guess everyone's like, oh, this is the episode we've been waiting for. It was, but then it wasn't, for me anyway. I guess, when I was thinking about the penultimate episode of Moon Knight and how well done it was, right? And everything that it hit me, I was hoping that it would be more like that. And it was, I liked that they interplayed this flashback on Coruscant, even though I do have the issues with de-aging, because they de-aged Robert Downey Jr. a lot. He looked like his 20-some-year-old counterpart in the 80s, in the Rat Pack or the Brat Pack, right? In Civil War.
Jr. wasn't part of the Brat Pack.
Well, whatever. He did movies with them. That doesn't matter.
Well,
he could have do that.
Yeah,
if they could have done that, they could have de-aged Hayden Christensen a little more. We have
the technology. They did the same thing with Michael Douglas, so we know the technology's there. They did the same thing with Stan Lee, who was already passed away when Endgame came out.
They did it with Luke. They did it with Mark Hamill in earlier Star Wars stuff, in the Mando, and in Mando 2.5 scene on Boba Fett. They did that really well. So anyway, my issues with that I like that they interplayed that flashback scene with Darth Vader's memories and how they were using it as that narrative to talk about how the difference between Obi-Wan and Anakin, and how this episode was eventually going to end, which is Obi-Wan would get away because at the end of the day, Darth Vader doesn't like when people underestimate his power. And that's what's always going to be his undoing, which, okay, thank you. I like that one. See, look at how young he is right there. Come on, guys.
He still looks at Obi-Wan that same way.
He still looks at Obi-Wan. But I liked how they did that. And I think that set that all well, but then we had so much of Reva in the middle, and that character that it kind of took away from it being Obi-Wan and Anakin kind of facing off in a way, playing a game of.
Hold on a second. RDJ was a member of the Brat Pack from the A. Are you?
I thought he was.
Oh, he was not. No. Bull crap. I'm calling bull. Emilio Estevez, Rob Lowe, Anthony McElhall, Andrew McCarthy, Demi Moore, John Nelson, Molly Ringwald, Ali Sheedy. And I'll even throw Demi Moore in there.
No, you're right.
Junior?
Esquire.
He was there at the parties, but I always think of the movies, right? So I don't really see Robert Downey Jr. in there. Like, he partied with Estevez. I can't believe I'm having this stupid conversation. Sorry, I take my Brat Pack seriously. We'll have this conversation another day. Go ahead, man.
So that was my big issue in it. And also, the fight. So besides the fight scenes, even when they're like doing the blaster battle, with the blasters, whenever they break through the door, a lot of that was a little fuzzy to me, and I don't think it was shot that well. It looked a little bit, not well choreographed as far as the stormtroopers coming in and them escaping. There was some issues I had with that too, but I still don't know how I feel with the ending and where this is going to go, because you can't put Darth Vader on Tatooine. I don't think that's gonna. What is like that? I feel like that's a whole big retcon for New Hope. I just don't. There's no way that he can get on Tatooine. Now I can see Reva trying to go to Tatooine and her and Obi-Wan facing off. And when they face off, maybe Obi-Wan has to kill her, or maybe Obi-Wan has to somehow incapacitate her in some way, because
Leia?
No, Reva. So Leia also can't get on Tatooine either. But see, Bail Organa apparently is going to go to Tatooine. So obviously Obi-Wan will take her there to meet up with Bail. As long as her and Luke don't meet, I guess I'm okay with that. Like, he can just drop her off in like the saloon with Bail and they leave. And that's the end of Leia for the rest of the episode, I guess.
The only way to fix this show is if Christopher Lloyd shows up in the DeLorean and tells Obi-Wan Kenobi, we got to do something about those damn kids. Get in. And they go back, and season 2 is nothing but fixing what they did in this season. And saying Leia should never have come back here.
So a roguish type said the last episode is Reva being redeemed on Tatooine. So I thought about that too, because obviously the whole premise of this show was, it's been 10 years. Obi-Wan has no belief that Jedi will ever rise again. The Empire has won. The dark side has won. We all give up. I'm going to go into hiding. Right? That was the overarching theme. But if he sees he's able to redeem someone, then maybe, because he talks, a lot of him talks about to Luke about redeeming, his father, right? Mm-hmm. So maybe if he's able to do that with Reva, he feels like, okay, maybe there's hope for Anakin. And then it kind of instills him to try and then eventually help Luke on his journey when the time comes in 8 more years. Not that he knows that. So maybe that could happen too, and she doesn't, I don't know. We'll see. There's she's a character, right? But I feel like she's more of a plot device for Obi-Wan or Anakin or both. And but it's hard. She's a character. She's not like a MacGuffin or something. So that makes her problematic because of her lack of, some people are talking about her she doesn't have redeeming qualities and things like that. Her characterization is kind of off. But really, because I think the writers were using her as a plot device more so than an actual character.
This is also true. It's not Star Wars without a villain redemption. And honestly, that is the character we saw redeeming herself. I just thought they would transition it a lot better than let's talk through a metal door and, hey, I have an idea. Let's kill Darth Vader. I have nothing else to say. I have a lot more to say about the Brat Pack, but I don't have anything left to say about the show. Because let me tell you something. Starting a conversation with Omar is wrong. It's the way my wife starts conversations. Really well. Our DJ is definitely okay. The prerequisite to being in the Brat Pack, I would say, would have to be a little bit of starring in St. Elmo's Fire, and then we have a little cross, right? Like we have a little bit of Anthony Michael Hall was in a few of those John Hughes movies. So because he was when oh my gosh. Y'all are making me mad. I can't even think of the stupid Saturday School movie now.
So he
Don't
had so
forget about me.
while he's appeared in a lot of, according to all these things, while he's appeared in a lot of movies with the Brat Pack, he's typically not considered a member of the Brat.
I just named off all the members, I think. Okay, thank you. It's Father's Day. Damn it. Omar is right to just today. Can I get the day?
According to Esquire, Milo Escudez, Anthony Michael Hall, Rob Lowe, Andrew McCarthy, Demi Moore, Jude Law, sorry, Judd Nelson, and Molly Ringwald and Ali Sheedy.
Judd the Man Nelson.
Yes. So,
would I consider Back to School a Brat Pack movie, though? I think of Back to School of Robert Downey Jr. was in it. He played the friend. I can't remember who else was in that besides, of course, Rodney Dangerfield. None of the other Brat Pack members were there, right? I can't. Anyway, this is a really good conversation because I'm curious as to like why people, like I said, because he did party with them. He did party with the Brat Pack. So I think you got an answer.
Apparently, in the there was an initial New York, the magazine article about a group of actors, and it was larger than what we know of today. That was more inclusive of their actors. It included Tom Cruise in there, Matt Dillon, Patrick Swayze, Ralph
Macchio, I assume. Yeah, okay. Outsiders.
Charlie Sheen, James Spader, and Robert Downey Jr. were also considered members at some point because of all the stuff they've done with those actors too. So in that article that came out, while it's come to be considered the core cast of like the Breakfast Club and St. Elmo's Fire being the core members, other people have been considered part of that Brat Pack too, and those people are listed there because of that article in the New York magazine.
A weird flashback. I felt like I just had this argument about 30-something years ago with my friends.
So the core Brat Pack is those who you mentioned, but there is a
expanded universe, if you will.
There's an expanded universe of the Brat Pack. There's like there's the inner circle, and then there's the rest of the guys. And it's like a pyramid scheme.
Have we rated the show yet? No, we have not.
No, let's go ahead and talk about the boys. I can't believe we got this topic because I mentioned I said that Robert Downey Jr. is the Brat Pack.
And then people said that he was. So it wasn't.
I know, but how did we get on this topic? Which is a much more interesting topic than this episode.
It really is. It really is. Dude, Spader could have joined the Brat Pack.
He was considered a member.
Like I said, that's expanded universe Brat Pack. Okay, I'm considering that the expanded universe, like with RDJ. As far as this episode, ladies first, I went with Miss Marvel. What would you give this out of 10, Amanda? Anybody that has seen it, what would you all rate it out of 10?
I'm gonna give it a 5 out of 10.
5 out of 10. I think this was a little bit better than most of the episodes I've seen so far, but sadly, that's not saying much. It was nice to see Hayden and Ewan McGregor back in one scene together, fighting with the lightsabers, choreographed really well. I can't. Oh my gosh. I think 4.5, 5. It wasn't that good. I want to enjoy it more. I want to see what the next episode brings us. Hopefully, it will end on a better note. But for me, it's like a 5 out of 10 just for this episode.
Yeah, I think
which sucks because there's a lot of talent here. A lot of talent. 7 out of 10, 3 out of 10, May out of 10, 7.5 out of 10. Best episode of the season. It is one of the better episodes. Still, there were so many issues. 8 out of 10. Enjoyed it as much as my man Mark Zimmer.
I like
when
that.
When I get older, I wish I had that much positivity. I wish I have as much positivity as you do in life. Because I like to look at things like that. 5. Sometimes I think I'm being too anal about these things. 5 out of 10, 4.5 to 5.5. I give this one a 7 out of 10. Louise enjoyed it more. 2 legacy Brat Pack characters. Charlie Sheen is definitely Jack Ferry. Now you're yelling. I don't know if Charlie Sheen counts. He was just at the parties. Okay, 7.5. I would include Andrew McCarthy, even though he was only in a couple of them, like Pretty in Pink and like he's OG though, because he was in St. Elmo's Fire. River Phoenix out. Yeah, I agree with. I like this conversation. Can we just do an episode on the Brat Pack and the expanded universe? And more, I love it, man. 9 out of 10. You really like that? That is cool.
We can do a whole thing on our favorite Brat Pack movies.
I love that there's a big, there's definitely division in this, right? Like this is a
Yeah.
definite like show that some people are really enjoying it, some people are really hating it, and then there's people that are in the middle, like it could get better. They have good actors. There's things that I'm trying to find, the good in. RDJ was in Weird Science with Anthony Michael Hall. Hence, RDJ is definitely Brat Pack. All right, well, let's take it one step further. This isn't, 5 degrees of Kevin Bacon, because if we do that, then we're going to say, well, then RDJ was in Back to School with Rodney Dangerfield. Hence, Rodney Dangerfield is the Brat Pack.
Mm-hmm.
See? And then it doesn't stop there, because then you keep going crazy.
It's true.
Sam Kinison, Brat Pack. I could keep going. This is going to get nuts. You want to get nuts?
Let's get nuts, guys. We'll never get
It's Father's Day. Let's get nuts. 3 out of 10. Jansay gets an 11. My man. 8. My buddy Matt enjoyed it, and so did Phil. Well, maybe not. Phil, haven't seen this episode. This week's Ezra Miller News gets an 8 out. Please don't tell me there's more.
Oh, I have it. We'll talk about it.
Oh, gosh. What's up, Joey? How are you? I don't think it's a bad show. It's very okay. It's fine to have some okay shows every now and then. And at least it's not boring. I agree with that.
At least it's Star Wars. I mean, there's,
I think when they came out with Mando, that set the bar so high for like the new era of Star Wars, because people had been disappointed in so much of the Disney Star Wars era, I guess. So when they saw that, they were like, "Oh, holy crap! we have arrived at a new era of Star Wars, and it's gonna be great from now on." So I think that's awesome. Yeah, let's do that show. Let's do the top 5 Brat Pack movies. I'm going to include nothing but Rodney Dangerfield. Only good thing about this show is James Earl Jones' voice.
Nice to have his voice.
I don't know, man. It's nice to have Ewan McGregor back. I think he did a good job playing this down Jedi. 6-year-old me gave it a 9 out of 10. I do have to say, like, I wonder what the people that, because I was in college when episode 1 came out. So I didn't grow up with that era of Star Wars. Like, that wasn't my Star Wars. So I wonder what, like, people, young younglings that were watching episode 1, 2, and 3, what they think of this show. Like, to them, it's nostalgia heavy, right? Oh, we're going to go back to that.
Especially if Mace Windu shows up. Thank you, Jack.
Please give Hayden Christensen more work. Thank you for the super chat.
But is he not, like, isn't he choosing not to work these days? Is that kind of why he's not been in anything more recently?
I think so. I think he retired from acting to focus on having a family, which is okay. A lot of actors decide to do that. Is Young Guns peak of the fall or the fall of Brat Pack? I think Young Guns is the end of the Brat Pack and the beginning of the Young Buns, right? Like the young guys that were running Hollywood at the time. So, yeah, that's the death of the Brat Pack and the beginning of the rebellious stages with Charlie Sheen and all those guys. Christian Slater showed up in like the second one.
Yeah, so someone earlier had asked what the next Star Wars and Marvel shows are going to be, which I thought maybe we can mention before we get on to my favorite show to talk about this week, as it is every week, right now at least. So as far as Star Wars, after Obi-Wan ends this coming Wednesday, the next Star Wars show we're going to see is Star Wars Bad Batch Season 2, comes out fall of 2022.
I didn't see Season 1.
Yeah, Mando Season 3 comes out February of 2023. Then the Young Jedi Adventure comes out in spring. And then I think that Ahsoka doesn't come out until 2023. And then, of course, Andor is a little bit later as well. So that's not going to come out anytime soon. So our next, like, live action is going to be The Mandalorian Season 3 that we're going to get for Star Wars. Unless you guys are a fan of The Bad Batch. That's coming up.
I haven't seen it. Has anybody seen The Bad Batch, and what do you all think?
I've seen like the first half of the first season, and I liked it.
Let me tell you, when I heard about Andor, I got excited because I thought it was Endor. So I was excited to see the story of Wicket and his Ewok family.
Oh, God.
No, we're getting Andor instead. For some reason, people really like this era of Star Wars, and nobody cares about poor Wicket and all the Ewok family. And I don't care if it would have been just a conversation between Ewoks going chub chub chub, like that. I would have watched the whole damn thing in subtitles because I love me some Ewoks. But I guess I'm alone there.
Yeah.
Sarah's saying Bad Batch is great. So okay. Young Buns.
Yeah,
That's
Andor does come out August 31st. I don't know why it's not on this list. That's a weird
Bad
list.
Batch season 1 was decent, though also nothing special. But nothing special is good. My dog loves Bad Batch. That's a good rating, though. To have the attention of your dog. Andor comes out in August and goes head to head with Game of Thrones prequel.
Yeah, we're gonna have to watch the review because House of Dragons is August too. So we're gonna have to be that'll. But see, that's coming out on Sunday, right?
Mm-hmm.
Those Sunday night. It comes out head to head, but I believe Andor will still follow a Wednesday release date. I don't see them changing that. Whereas House of Dragon will most likely be a Sunday show because that's how all of their major shows right now always come out on HBO because they still have the cable version, right, of HBO. Mm-hmm. So they'll still do it Sunday night with Barry or whatever. I mean, Barry's on right now, but any other show, I don't know what else is going to be coming out on HBO. Maybe Succession, which would be great if that comes when that comes back out. So it'll be kind of, coming up on Sundays. And then Lord of the Rings. I don't remember what day Lord of the Rings will drop on Amazon Prime. Maybe Fridays like Boys is doing right now?
Look, yeah, you find that out really quick. I have some things to say. Jack Barry, Some Kind of Wonderful is my favorite John Hughes movie. I love that movie. I had the biggest crush on okay, so here's the thing. I don't know if I would consider that a Brat Pack. I love that this stream has now turned into a Brat Pack conversation because that's some of my favorite time of growing up in the 80s. Some Kind of Wonderful gets a pass for a horrible cover of Elvis's song, Fools Rush In. It's got a great cover at the end. I love it. I don't care. I had a huge crush on Mary Stuart Masterson. Oh my gosh, Watts was my type of girl, and I don't know why Keith, that's the main character played by Eric Stoltz, never saw the beauty in her, and he was all about Amanda Jones, who had her own theme song, which was kind of crazy. But man, what's his name? The villain that I'm sure they couldn't get. What's his face? James Spader. So they had to get the actor Craig Sheffer, I think was his name, who was like a poor man's James Spader. Guy was a douchebag. I love that movie, man. So you know what? I'm gonna officiate it as official Brat Pack movie. If you like Clone Wars, The Bad Batch is really good. I'm in. Leah Thompson is great, but for some reason, Leah Thompson always think of Back to the Future mom, even though she wasn't. Like they just aged her up, right? Like it was just weird. It was weird. Can't bring myself to ever watch those Ewok movies again. What? Are you kidding me? Those are the Battle for Andor and the Ewok Adventure. That's some damn good movies there. Pretty in Pink has the best Brat Pack soundtrack. Yeah, it's okay. Warwick Davis is too busy with Willow. You all know how excited I was for Willow. I'm so excited for Willow.
Yeah, when does Willow come? Yeah, so it's going to be a Friday show. So realistically, it's not coming up head to head against anything.
We're going to be busy on Reelz Talk.
It's going to be Sunday night, Game of Thrones, which we'll have to do a Sunday show. Wednesday, Andor. Friday, Lord of the Rings.
We used to have a lot of fun doing those right after Game of Thrones shows because people were like ready to talk.
And then She-Hulk, because that comes out August 17th, so that'll be like in there too.
Wow, we're gonna be back to back. We're gonna be back to back.
That's gonna be interesting. They're doing this very similar.
My man Roy's showing his age right here. This is the first time I'm hearing about this Brat Pack thing. Come on, man, you're making me feel old. So Brat Pack is just a take on the name the Rat Pack, right? Like Sammy Davis Jr. And those cats that were rolling around.
Roy, do you know who they are?
Oh yeah, do you know about the Rat Pack? Oh man,
singers.
Go Wikipedia the Rat Pack.
Yeah, famous singers.
The Outsiders is the ultimate Brat Pack movie that's not officially a Brat Pack movie. True, if it's based on what Amanda said about the article that was written about all these people that partied together, all these kids that partied together, of course. What's up, Bert? Could you plug my GoFundMe for a 6-scale self-snitching Bell Organa action figure complete with a configurable transmitter base accessory? Is that a real thing? No, it's not. The self-snitching Bell. Thank you for the super chat, Bert.
Oh my Thank you,
brother. House Targaryen is not for me. Game of Thrones final season left me with breakup drama.
Are they redoing this final season? We'll talk about that Jon Snow prequel that they're Jon Snow sequel that we're apparently getting.
Remember when we watched the ending of Game of Thrones and I said,
Yeah, and they came upstairs and talked about it.
yeah, that was a lot of fun. So I missed those. Remember, and I said there will never be another experience like Game of Thrones, despite of whether you hated it or not. I said on that episode that we're never gonna have another show like this, and I don't mean as epic as this, as great as this. I meant like the experience of everybody getting together and watching an episode when it premiered. Because streaming services have killed that, right? Like streaming services
And
is like
pandemic.
well, and the pandemic, but I mean, streaming services as a whole have killed that experience. They're going to release episodes at like 12 p.m. So nobody's going to get together at bars anymore. Nobody's going to get together at family, at your family's house to watch these shows. We'll still watch it. We'll see where it goes. Hey, Omar, I had a question. Ed Brubaker's Daredevil run. Brian Michael. Oh, can you read it? I would not. Or at least, I mean, if you don't care about spoilers, look up what happens in Brian Michael Bendis' run, because there's a huge cliffhanger at the end that leaves Daredevil in a new status quo, and then Brubaker takes over. Do either of you collect any physical media?
And I collect some comics and things like that. But Omar, I have these conversations because I have gotten rid of a lot of my physical media in the terms of like movies and CDs and things like that. I am digital all the way.
I have movies and video games and physical media. Omar, you have redeemed yourself, Jack Ferry. You're back to my cool book. You have good taste. You have great taste in women. Mary Stuart Masterson was, whoo, boy. Even in, why do you think I took a girl to go see Fried Green Tomatoes? Because she was in that movie. I didn't know what that was.
I feel like the Brad Pack has hijacked our review-a-thon. We're now.
Okay. The Voice.
Just the Brad Pack Central.
Ain't no damn green screen behind me, Roberto. Oh man, you call me. Look, what are you gonna do about that, Roberto?
That is such a great green screen. If that was, man, let me tell you what.
HBO Max solves the problem by releasing an episode at 9 p.m. on a Sunday for Euphoria. Oh, if they do that with Game of Thrones, we could do that. They
probably will. I think they,
That's
I mean, like last week tonight, still like the John Oliver show still airs at like 11 something, and it'll still come on HBO Max at like 11 something at night. So
then I'm in. I'm excited about that again. Yes. I don't know if the show's gonna be any good though.
It's got Matt Smith. I'm super excited for him.
Yeah, you know what else had Matt Smith?
It's Morbid Time.
It's Morbid Time, baby.
He relished his role as a villain. I thought he did fantastic in what little he was given.
So. Morbid. We're done talking. Are you folks fans of Twin Peaks of David Lynch? Oh my gosh, thank you for the super chat, by the way. Absolutely. I love David Lynch. Eraserhead is one of my favorite films. It's creepy as hell just for the noises alone and the sound effects. Mulholland Drive, Blue Velvet. And I'll be honest, though, as much as I love Twin Peaks, for some freaking reason, I haven't seen the new Twin Peaks. I don't know why. I don't know why I haven't yet. Any news on the new Morbius omnibus? I don't think that movie did well enough to grant us one. Date night seeing Fried Green Tomatoes. Boy, my date was crying at the end, and I was like, well, this ain't going to go nowhere. Then again, I was in the 8th grade, so it shouldn't have gone anywhere. All right, let's do it. The Boys, episode 5. Nice. Let's go ahead and start talking about spoilers for episode 5 of The Boys. In case you haven't seen it, come back later or put us on mute, and then we'll talk about some comic book movie.
One of those things. We'll change the background.
Oh, man, it was ready, boy. Yeah. All right. The Boys. Spoilers. What a fun show.
What a fun show. And it continues to be a fun show. We are introduced to, finally introduced to Soldier Boy in this episode, because we know from the last episode he was still alive. In fact, not dead. He escaped his Russian laboratory that he's been stuck in for the last 20 plus years. And he's now out and about. The boys, they think he's just hanging out in Russia, but little do they know early on that he actually gets on a plane and heads to the United States. And so the first time they realize that he's made it here is when he's walking along the streets of New York and seeing how things have clearly changed in terms of how superheroes are publicized and what it looks like today. and he starts hearing some Russian music that reminds him of his time in that Russian lab. And of course, he emits that energy, just completely like demolishing a city block, if you will, which of course makes it on TV. So now the boys know that he's back in town. Meanwhile, Huey is struggling with the fact that he took some V, he liked the V, and he likes how powerful it made him feel. And while he's being honest with Annie or Starlight, she's not happy about that. She's also not happy to find out that there's actually no weapon that killed Soldier Boy. So that's also pretty depressing in of itself. And meanwhile, Homelander has taken over Vought. He's instilled his puppet, Ashley, who is just terrified of him, as the CEO. And Homelander is trying to be a CEO, trying to be a businessman, but clearly has no idea what he's doing, but uses fear and intimidation.
I like the way he runs his business just with fear and intimidation
to basically put people in their place and not try to cross him or even ask him simple questions about EBITDA margins, which I don't even know what those are. Can someone Google that for me? He even instills the Deep as the head of crime analysis, which the Deep's in it.
What?
I hate. And then of course he goes through performance reviews, basically firing anyone who had a critical tweet of Homelander in the last several years. So they go from like I mean, if this is a commentary on certain things that have happened in the last few years, I don't know what else is.
Well, it reminds me of like Jay and Silent Bob, the very first movie right after Dogman. What is it? Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back. Yeah.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Like that was their whole thing, was they were going to go and kick the crap out of people that were talking crap about them.
Yeah, exactly.
Homelander wants to do. All right. Yeah. I'm in. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. And then we also have, we start to see what happens, like when you start to see people getting indoctrinated by someone like Homelander. Comes home from Russia, goes pick up his daughter, and his daughter's stepfather has been making her watch Homelander's speech on repeat. Buying her
that was a little weird.
And clearly he finds something that he doesn't see in himself, being an assertive, strong male, which is what Homelander is. And he is now trying to indoctrinate MM's daughter. MM's not having it. But he doesn't have time to really deal with that, because when he finds out that Soldier Boy's alive, he leaves his daughter and Todd because he has to go deal with that. Meanwhile, we also get one of the favorite scene I kept coming back to and watched this several times for, and that's Butcher and Maeve. So Maeve, of course, goes to Butcher because she's like, what happened? And basically they have a moment where they both start drinking again, even though they've both been trying to be sober. He's telling her how much he hates her kind. And then they get that. The voyeur is the And then we get a really rough and kinky sex scene between the two of them that Carl Urban is.
You gonna do it? You want me to do it?
Yeah, he's very attractive. Yeah. I mean, it's it was a good episode. It was good. It's hard to talk about that. It was just it makes me blush, but it was fun to see.
Yeah, me too.
But yeah, so that happens, and that's true.
Earnings before interest, taxes, depreciation.
Thank you so much, Bert. I appreciate that, because me and Homelander didn't know what that meant. So that's a good question, Jack Ferry, asking about the Black Noir. Anyway.
I mean, that's a little bit different, right, than it plays out in the comics, I'm sure. They have taken a lot of liberty with the show, which makes me curious as to how next episode is going to be handled. But go ahead, Amanda.
That's the Herogasm, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm curious how it's going to be handled. But we do get to introduce Paul Reiser making his second appearance on a hit TV show in the last 2 months, because we saw him pop back up again in Stranger Things Season 4, Part 1. But he plays the Legend, which Omar has told me was supposed to be a parody of someone else. but definitely is a different take of the character.
Yeah,
right?
so those of us that have read the comic, the legend was a parody of Stan Lee, right? Like a old, dirty, perverted Stan Lee. So a lot different than what we get in the legend from the show. So,
Yes, he's more like a movie star. Like he's
a
still
rich
dirty,
guy.
sleazy. He's still kind of dirty and sleazy, but he's like the hero manager who used to be back in the day. And of course, the reason we get to see the legend is because after Soldier Boy goes ahead and blows up that city block, unintentionally, of course, he does go to see the legend to pick up his super suit because the legend kept it. And they're trying to figure out where he's going. And turns out he's going to see Crimson Countess. Turns out Crimson Countess is the one that betrayed him. The person who we all thought she was, that was his girlfriend. They were in love. Turns out they're not in love. And then we get this amazing scene where executive producer Seth Rogen gets to be a man on a camera, just hoping to get a little bit of a slap bank from Crimson Countess and some.
I was wondering how far they would take that with the love beads. I'm like, oh my gosh, are we really? Yes. Please do go on. But we didn't. Of course, she is interrupted
by the boys.
Yes. So they break in, and that's when we found out that she's the one that sold him out. This is a really good question. What they do with the dog this season?
I don't know.
Have they talked about?
No, and I haven't seen the dog at like the apartment they all congregate out either.
I haven't seen him at any of the red carpet events that I've been following either.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a good question what they've done with the dog. But so the big storyline though here, the reason that
go ahead, we'll come back to that.
Yeah, we'll come back to that. So the reason that they even wanted to find Crimson Countess first and use her as bait for or leverage in Butcher's case for Soldier Boy is because Kimiko, who's been in the hospital, has woken up from the energy blast she had taken from Soldier Boy. And it has completely removed all her powers. She is not strong. She does not heal. She's completely human. And so we finally figured out that while the BCL red weapon doesn't exist, there is a weapon that could potentially take out Homelander, and that is Soldier Boy, because he now has these powers, these nuclear powers from all the experimenting that the Russians did on him that would take away another soup's powers. So, of course, that's why Butcher wants to talk to him, because they want to do a team up, as his folks call it, and kind of work together. And by using Crimson Countess as an offering, it's his way of saying, here's my good faith, let's work together kind of thing. But of course, we have a really cute scene with Kimiko and Frenchie, another one of those cute little musical numbers that we've got in Kimiko's mind. But Frenchie, he's doing his own stuff because, of course, Nina's upset that everything happened with the with Soldier Boy escaping. So Frenchie's got to pay off some debt for her. And of course, he doesn't do it. So he's taken. So now he's off with Nina, and Kimiko's wondering where he's gone. The boys are teaming up with Soldier Boy, but Starlight, of course, is not happy about all this. And she's kind of, might be going a different way because she's not happy with the lies that Huey's have been going to work with Butcher. And of course, Butcher's struggling with the whole fact that Huey is acting and being more like him every day. So you see a lot of this stuff going on. And it's really interesting. She does have a wonderful voice.
That was a cute scene.
A really awesome fifth episode. Of course. Oh, and we also get the Blue Hawk and A-Train's part of this whole thing, where A-Train, because he turned in Supersonic to Homelander, Homelander gives him what he wants, which is Blue Hawk to go and apologize to the Black community in his neighborhood in Trenton. But that turns out to be a terrible idea, because as they start giving him grief, he starts to read off his corporate speech to them. They're yelling back at him. He starts yelling back, "Soup Lives Matter." Next thing you know, he's throwing people around, and A-Train finally stops him. But A-Train's brother ends up paralyzed in the process. So, and I love that because it's right after Starlight's like, why do you want to work with people who hate you so much? And I think that maybe this will be a turning point for A-Train when he realizes, what am I doing? Like, this is like, maybe. But then we've seen that before. None of these characters really turn over a new leaf. Maybe Queen Maeve, but other than that, not really many of them have.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, this the whole dynamic between Starlight and also what's his name is changing towards
Huey,
the end
yeah.
of this episode. Yeah,
Very fast.
Huey. So let's see where this goes. I'm enjoying this. This season has been really good. Was there anything else that happened in this particular episode?
That was new or nope. Those
I think you covered everything.
Yeah, I think I covered everything as fast. Wow, that's pretty fast. But but I mean I'm enjoying it. It's really interesting commentary on a lot of stuff. Obviously, satirical in a lot of senses too. But yeah, I'm excited to see more Soldier Boy coming in. And now that he's and I didn't know what team he was going to be on, where they were going to go with it. But I do like the fact that he's going to team up with the boys. I don't know how long that'll last though. But
yeah, it's hard to tell like how long he's going to be alive.
Yeah, but this is definitely like we're at the middle of the season, so the villain's winning at this point, right? Homelander, he's winning, but it is going to start in the later episodes now that we'll start to turn over, right? And we'll start to see the conflict rise till it comes to a head. And I'm excited to see where they take that. I don't know how next episode is going to fit into that, but man, Homelander, Tony Starr is a really good actor, man. I mean, everyone's great in this show. It just is always entertaining. A lot of people earlier saying in the chat is like the best show streaming right now, and I say it is probably one of the best shows streaming currently right now that we're watching for sure.
It's excellent.
Yes,
it's excellent. I'm enjoying it. It's somebody asked me on the Saturday stream what I thought about it compared to the comic. Like, is it better than the comic? I think it definitely takes itself in a different tone than the comic book does. It's all satire, but if you can't handle it, it's gratuitous, and then the comic is a lot worse than the TV show. So I'm enjoying it. Are you guys annoyed at Huey's insecurity? I've always hated stories where a character has insecurities or hates something that the character they're dating does, even though they knew about it before dating. I think it's just another plot line that will be resolved within the season.
Yeah, I'm not too annoyed by it. He knew that Starlight had powers, so he knew he was never going to be as strong as her, and that she would and could always protect him. But yeah,
I've never been more jealous of Butcher than the latest episode. I've been wanting to smash Maeve since the door. Yeah, I enjoyed this one. The show keeps getting better and better. I think it could be the best season. I really enjoyed season 1. Season 2 had some issues with season 2, but for the most part, was still pretty good. Not as good as 1, but I think this one might be the best season, if not just as good as 1. For me, this one gets 9 out of 10. It was excellent. I loved it. What about you, Amanda? What would you give this out of 10?
I would give it a 9 out of 10 too. I really enjoyed this episode. And I've been watching, I think I've been watching these boys episodes like 2 or 3 times.
I'm enjoying them. Yeah, if you've seen the episodes, let us know what you would give it out of 10. This particular episode. I'm going to go back to a couple of comments. There was one. Somebody was asking me. Okay. Then we'll go back to that Miss Marvel comment I didn't know about. Omar, what are your thoughts on everyone on social media hating on Garth Ennis? I don't know why they're hating on Garth Ennis. I don't really social media. So
why are they hating on Garth Ennis?
Let me know. I mean, is it because of his writing? Like, is it too gratuitous for some people? I don't know. Have you heard they hired most Indian actors in Miss Marvel playing Pakistani?
Wow.
No, I haven't.
No, I did not know that.
But I got to say, they are getting better and better at hiring people. I will say that. Like, although it still surprises me, the Peruvian girl who played Pocahontas in A New World is still playing Native American roles. That still surprises me because she was in Yellowstone season 3. Really good looking.
That's right. She is the same girl.
Yeah, she was the lawyer, I think is what she was.
Yep.
8 out of 10. I did find the subplot with Frenchie quite uninteresting. Yeah, it seems like Frenchie's story, I don't know what else they're going to do with it. I guess we'll find out.
I mean, to see him and Kimiko get their happy ending, I don't think that's going to happen, but.
Garth Ennis did a James Bond spoof that has gone under the radar. He did a kid's book. What was it called? Earth?
No.
I think ERF. Yeah, it's a kid's book. My kids read it. It's nothing like anything he's read before. Omar, I don't know if you've read Spriggan. Are you kidding? Look who you're talking to. You mean Stryker? That's what it was known as here in America when it was translated by Viz. I have the first 3 volumes. I think that's all that ever came here. But the new anime is on Netflix and it's great. Spriggan only had 1 movie, right? If I want to say so. Please show Butcher smashing. Well, I mean, it's not like it's not safe for work because it's like they have their clothes on and they're just dancing really close.
Yeah, I mean,
we've seen worse in Roadhouse than in Dirty Dancing, or when Nicolas Cage was playing with what's her face in Ghost Rider.
Yep. It was a Ghost Rider. You saw that gift still, gosh.
Let's see here. This is trivia. The boys made a reference to Len Bias when speaking about Supersonic's overdoses. Len Bias was the number 2 NBA draft pick who overdosed 3 days after he was selected by the Boston Celtics. My goodness.
Wow.
Welcome back, Frank was stellar. To me, I think my favorite thing he's ever done is still, you can't see it, but Preacher. I love Preacher. The ending of Preacher still brings a tear to my eye. Oh my gosh. And the show did not do it justice. Well, India, Bangladesh, and Pakistan were all the same country less than 100 years ago. Which I learned through watching Miss Marvel, like some of that stuff about Constantinople. So, see? It's okay to learn. That's one thing I didn't say about Miss Marvel. I like that. I like when it's not her religion or her race that makes her who she is. She's Kamala. And then this religion and race that just happens to be around her, like family. I think that's great. I like shows like that. Daredevil is the greatest of all time. Well, Kevin Smith, you did have a run on Daredevil, so of course you would say that.
Yes, you would say that.
Is this the real Kevin Smith?
If it is, blink twice.
No, you was the bomb in Phantoms. No, wait, that was Ben Affleck. Oh yeah, they did 30 for 30 about Len Bias. That's awesome. Get ready for Hero-gasm. All right, so they're really gonna do Hero-gasm. I wonder how that's gonna go.
Oh, I cannot wait for that episode, and I cannot believe that we're not gonna be here to talk about it live.
When is it's next Friday?
Yeah, but you're in North Carolina.
I'll be back on Sunday. We can do another Sunday show. It's fine.
Okay, we'll do another Sunday show.
I'll be ready to talk about it. Given that a major subplot in Miss Marvel is about partition, I think that it's a good idea to even have Indian and Pakistani actors side by side, show solidarity for an issue that affected millions. Good point.
Yeah, that's a very good point.
Rest in peace, Tim Sell. I see you repping Tim Sell in the background. Yes. I recorded a video on Thursday, and it was really difficult to record because I take a lot of people's deaths, and it hits me like it feels like they were a part of my childhood. So when somebody passes away, I feel like it's part of me that's part of my childhood that's dying. So when he passed away, I had to record a video, and that was really hard. That was the upcoming DC Collected Editions. But so I did give it like a nice little tribute to him. So Kevin Smith. More than meets Masters of the Universe. First of all, just a couple characters suck. Orko was a badass in Masters of the Universe. He was awesome. Omar, what did you think of the Batman Long Halloween animated adaptation? I feel like didn't we watch that and then compare it? Weren't we gonna do that, or was that with someone else? I've done so many episodes.
I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't remember. I try to watch it. I did not like the animated show. We should do that though.
Yeah, we should. That's a good
It was
idea.
only 2 movies, I think. Tim Sell's the same age as my dad. Really made me think. Well, I think about like creators that we lost that were younger than me, like or my age, like Mike Wieringo or Michael Turner when they passed away. Next year's we're gonna get The Boys Presents Varsity. I think he did. Jensen, this is the same guy that's playing who was in Supernatural, right?
Yeah, he was in Supernatural,
Yeah. Any movie news, Amanda?
So, well, a lot of people brought it up, so let's talk about the fact that
I cannot find a Nikita Lyons gif. I'm so sorry. So I have this, and I have a couple other pictures, but that's...
So apparently, Variety has confirmed that there's going to be a spin-off. He can change this thing. Do you have a scrolling for like movie news?
I got you.
Okay.
First of all,
apparently there will be a spin-off series that is around Jon Snow. Apparently Kit Harington is attached to reprise his role as the fan favorite hero.
Wait, he's not busy playing the Black Knight?
Well, that was a lot. That's what my question is too. Wait, what? But I don't know how many projects he's going to be the Black Knight in for Disney. So maybe he's got some time on his hands. It's going to take place after the events of Game of Thrones. And, this gives a lot of people that the Davids are not attached to produce this. So they're not going to be part of it at all. The original producers of the show, Benioff and Weiss. So we don't have to. So if you're worried about that, you don't have to be. There's a good chance this is, it's going to be, his time up north, I'm assuming. And what comes after that, we'll probably see cameos, I imagine. And I don't want to say this is going to be opening up that ironclad ending of what happened at the end of Game of Thrones, but it certainly throws a wrench in what we consider the ending that a lot of people weren't satisfied with and gives us the opportunity for something new and maybe something that helps meet the expectations of fans a little bit better, perhaps. Maybe.
I have a hard time, like somebody said it feels like a bad breakup. And it is, right? Because I watched it from episode 1, so I felt like I deserved better. I know at the end, it's up to the creators. I know it's not what we're gonna get with a Song of Ice and Fire, whenever that gets finished. But yeah, I don't know. Am I excited for this? No. Will I watch it? Yes, of course I'll watch it. Of course, I'll watch it and we'll review it, and I'll go into it. Sometimes it's really difficult to go into these things objectively, like which is what you have to do when you're reviewing them. Sometimes you go in with these nostalgia goggles, and then Obi-Wan opens your eyes, and you're like, oh yeah, I need to take these off and actually review this thing. Till we Game of Thrones, I have to go in with a clean slate. So we'll see. What else?
Harrington's coming back.
Yeah, but I mean, seriously, it's not like it's not like The Eternals was a huge hit, and they're like,
we don't know where we don't know what Marvel's going to do with that at all. So I would take this opportunity. We'll get Tormund, that's good. So he'll come back, probably, I imagine.
I hope so.
Because he's good at comic relief, and maybe Sam will come back. Other news, they announced Marvel's developing a Wonder Man series. So that's exciting. It is going to have right now the team attached to it is the filmmaker from Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings, Destin Daniel Cretton. He's teamed up with Andrew Guest, who was a writer-producer for comedies such as Brooklyn Nine-Nine and Community, and they're going to be doing a live-action series for Marvel's Wonder Man. So Guest is going to be the head writer. So obviously I'm getting comedy vibes right off the bat here for Wonder Man, because you're talking about a veteran in comedy writing, especially with Brooklyn Nine-Nine Community. And he's going to be head writer while Cretton's executive producing and possibly directing the series as well. And he's still working on his overall deal with Marvel Studios that he signed late last year after the success of Shang-Chi. So what do you think about that Wonder Man news?
But I've texted you, and I'm like, wishful thinking makes me want, of course, Nathan Fillion.
I know.
Right? Realist is like they're gonna cast some 20-year-old and sign a multi-movie deal with them, of course.
Yes.
And that's okay. I mean, that's a wise decision. You're not gonna cast somebody that's in their 50s to play Wonder Man.
Yeah.
And it sucks, but if you could go back in time 20 years ago, Nathan Fillion would have been perfect for Wonder Man. Yeah. So I like Simon. I'm a big fan of his character. I wonder if it's going to tie into, the whole Vision, because we had a little bit of an Easter egg in there with WandaVision. The whole the love triangle between him and Vision and Scarlet Witch, if she's even going to come back for season 2. So, yeah, of course I'm interested in that. And maybe get some West Coast Avengers out of that, because God knows, we need another team movie. We've had team movies in non-team movies, right? Like we've had Doctor Strange that still felt like a team movie. Spider-Man 3 felt like a team movie. So, yeah, I want something like to have a team type of movie.
Well, shoot, even Thor: Love and Thunder is not just about Thor, right? You're gonna have the Guardians. You're going to have,
even though the Guardians, I'm sure, are going to be gone within the first 5 minutes.
Yeah, but you still have Jane, you still have Korg, you still have Valkyrie, so you still have a little bit of a team up, right? So
let's get some Beta Ray Bill. I have a feeling they might have removed him from one of the. That would have been cool.
That would have been cool. Yeah, but no, so interesting development there.
It's three Omnis are coming out. It's the total. It does not include the Dear Becky story, though. So what else is going on in movie news, Amanda? What's
all right? Well, let's talk about Thunderbolt. We talked about that last week about them attaching a director, right? They attached a director, Jake Schreier, I think is his name.
Yeah, we did talk a little bit about it.
Yeah. So they have a director attached to it. So the question is, what are they going to do with the Thunderbolts movie? What direction they're going to take it in? Obviously, the actual Thunderbolt Ross has passed away. So,
well, I mean, the Thunderbolts were a thing before Thunderbolt. Thunderbolt Ross was like, it wasn't until 20 years after the comic was out that they did the Red Thunderbolts.
But we have plenty of people.
I think we made our own team. That was a fun episode. We made our own team. We made our own X-Men. Did we do our own Thunderbolts or Dark Avengers? I can't remember.
We talked about it. I thought we did, but I know we talked about it.
We may have.
But we did do an X-Men one. We have cast X-Men in the MCU.
That was fun. We should definitely keep doing it. It was a lot of fun. Because Nikita Lyons is going to be casted in everything from now on, either in Thunderbolts or whatever the hell we're talking about. Have you seen RRR?
Yes, me and Corey watched it. Yes.
So everyone on the Saturday stream that had seen it told me to go and watch it.
You should.
It's blowing up in America, it's not a. What type of movie is it? They told me it's not a Bollywood movie. It's
Bollywood.
It's whatever.
I don't know what the correct term would be for it. That's a good question. What is that?
I don't know, but everybody that was on the chat that had seen it were like, "You need to go see it. It's a little long, but it's completely worth it."
It is long. It felt like a longer movie.
Are you serious? Nathan Fillion said he wants to be Sasquatch. Okay, I could see him playing that character in Alpha Flight. He is Canadian. I would love that, man. Just bring me some Nathan Fillion. It seems like they're mixing Young Avengers and Champions in the MCU. Yeah, whenever you have like Kamala and who else do we have? You have Hawkeye, Stature, or whatever they're going to call her in the movies. I heard that actress was replaced though in the Ant-Man Wasp movie. They replaced his daughter, Cassie.
They did, with that girl you don't like from Detective Pikachu.
Oh, she's horrible. Or I mean, she was in that movie. I haven't seen what's the Freaky Friday movie? Is it Freaky Friday? I think. 18 Again, but the like when the young kid switches bodies with their parent, that type of movie.
Freaky Friday.
Yeah, but instead it's with a serial killer and it's Vince Vaughn. Or
I know what you're talking about. I have not seen.
I haven't seen that.
Yeah.
RRR is around 3 hours long. It's on Netflix. I'm gonna watch it then.
You're gonna have to take some time to watch it. But
John Hickman's X-Men versus Joss Whedon's X-Men. Which one's your favorite out of the two? Oh gosh, Whedon's X-Men. We don't talk about no damn Bendis killing out. I hated that story, the stupid Sentry story. Oh my gosh. Everything, Everywhere, All at Once is very good. You are 100% right. That is one of my favorite movies this year. I'm going to try to sneak and see The Northman tomorrow, though. I'm very excited about that. And one of these damn days, we're going to go see Top Gun.
God, I know. The
Key to Lions is The Vindicator. My man. Yes. Oh, yes. Or Guardian. I'll take it for Guardian. RRR is the best film of the year, hands down. Really? That good? Okay, now I'm excited.
It's probably, I think it's the most expensive film that was released recently in India too. So it's, but
is it Netflix produced or is it just showing up on Netflix?
I think they purchased it. I don't think it was produced by Netflix, but I think they purchased the rights to it.
Mm-hmm.
So they can film it, show it there, yeah, on Netflix. But it is blown up. It's a very popular film. I've started to see a lot of articles on it. I've really enjoyed a lot of the action sequences in the film. They're really great, and the actors themselves are wonderful. So I would recommend it. I mean, if you, I know you have no issues with, reading subtitles or anything like that.
I'm reading subtitles right now. Go see Top Gun, comic movie. All right. Well, then I got to get it. And Sandman, I hate to admit it, I'm freaking excited for Sandman. I don't want to be, but it kind of. So it's the Northman's on Peacock. Yeah, I heard about that. Mm-hmm. That was quick. I really wanted to see it on the big screen. It looks like one of my movies I'd enjoy.
Well, that'll be something I'll be watching here shortly. So I want to see that.
Somebody asked me once, Omar, what do I need to prep, or what do I need to read to prep reading Bendis' X-Men? And I said the same thing he read before taking over X-Men. Absolutely nothing. That's how I answered that question.
Oh my
I guess it's fact. Anything else? Oh yeah, you wanted to talk about.
Let's talk about Ezra Miller quick. He's disappeared.
Can we go a freaking week without talking about Ezra Miller?
They have disappeared. So they had posted multiple memes on their Instagram account, and then they posted text that said they are in another universe. No one can touch them. They're in another dimension, and they're protected from negative people. And then they deleted their Instagram account. So this all comes right after the parents of that 12-year-old, well, now she's 18, 18-year-old girl, when they filed a restraining order against him, trying to get their daughter away from him because apparently he was grooming her since she was 12. So, yeah, he's disappeared now. Maybe Warner Brothers actually knows where he is, but we sure do not know where Ezra Miller is right now at this time. They have gone into hiding, I guess, is what's happened. I don't know with these ongoing saga of what's been going on with him how it's going to affect the Flash movie if and when it does come out. But it's going to be very difficult if and when that movie comes out. And if Warner Bros. Doesn't just release it on
I don't know why they don't just go ahead and release it. Get it over with. Rip the Band-Aid. Too many people have worked on this movie. Too many people are waiting on a paycheck because of this movie, and it's affecting a bunch of people's livelihoods because of one person. I don't follow this crap. I don't know what they're doing. I don't know anything about this. I think, and because of that, I also can't play ignorant and be like, well, I don't care. But I mean, if they have done something wrong, then obviously there needs to be repercussions, whether you hold pay or whatever. You fire them from the franchise and you cut the contract, which I assume is what they're going to do. But I say go ahead and release it because there's too many people that have already invested too much time and work into this project. And even with movies, you're talking about a group project. This is something that actors produce, not so much producers, writers and directors and cinematographers all come together to do, right? Like, and you're punishing everyone by not going ahead and releasing it. And yeah, might as well get it over with.
Just do it.
End the contract, replace Ezra with a new Flash at the end, which I assume is what they're going to add into the movie. and move on to other projects, because apparently, Keaton was going to show up in Batgirl, whatever that spinoff series was.
Yep.
We're ready. I think most people my age are more excited for Michael Keaton returning to the Batman role. Even Ben Affleck playing Batman again. It's cool.
Yeah, I think more people are just excited for that than seeing Ezra Miller as the Flash. So let's just release the film. If they want to release it just on, if they cut their losses and pay what they need to pay the people and just release it on HBO Max, I don't know how the.
They're going to lose a lot of money if they do Max. I think they need to release it theatrically.
But just not do a lot of marketing around it.
It sucks. It sucks, but I say, get it the hell out there. Go next month and release it. But it's one of those things that might get worse. And do you want it to get worse before it? Because I don't know if it's going to get better.
I don't know either.
So I guess we'll see.
It's an interesting predicament.
Yeah. Let's see what else. What else was there? There was something else that I thought. Okay, Umbrella Academy season 3 is coming out.
Mm-hmm.
First, was it the trailer that released? I think.
Yep, the trailer released. Yep, so that's coming out shortly. I think that's in July, I believe. So that'll be the next thing that we'll start to review once all these other shows.
And that thing is going to be dropped like the entire season, which I
know
hate that Netflix does. That's a lot of watching.
I know. We'll have to.
I think last time we gave people a whole week to view and give ourselves some time to view it too.
Just to
a few episodes here and there, because that's a lot of episodes to watch. And I assume, I don't know, it ended on a huge cliffhanger last time.
Yeah, it sure did.
Sparrow Academy. So it's going to be interesting to see where it goes from there. The show is all loopy and crazy, so I'm excited for it. It's Umbrella Academy. I enjoy the show more than I did the comic book. So
yeah, it makes me happy that that Jardway is getting that stuff.
I haven't read Superman and the Authority. I heard it was really good. My buddy Jess said it was really good. Oh my gosh, Umbrella Academy is June 22nd.
Oh my gosh.
No, wait, that's a Wednesday, right? Because my anniversary is the 24th. Oh my gosh,
it is Thursday. They're dropping. I guess they're dropping it on Thursday.
That's this Wednesday.
Wednesday, sorry. Well, we're obviously not going to review it on Wednesday, guys, because we have to review Obi-Wan season finale and Ms. Marvel.
I'll be watching.
I don't have time to watch all episodes of Umbrella Academy in one day.
So. We'll give you all a week or two to watch all of Umbrella Academy and give you our thoughts.
We'll give you our thoughts following Friday, maybe, or following Wednesday.
But I think that's it as far as comic book movie news and TV shows, correct?
Yeah, as far as comic books concerned, unless you want to, make note that I guess Shazam was not ready to be released because they just got a composer. Christoph Beck is composing for Shazam, Fury of the Gods. Exciting stuff. Christoph Beck did Buffy the Vampire Slayer, which is what I know him from because I used to play my CD of Buffy the Vampire Slayer, the TV series. And Christoph Beck did the Buffy and Angel theme. And I just knew it always played on my DVD or my CD player. So I got to,
I like the last season soundtrack. That was really good. Season 7.
Yeah.
I saw the Gotham Knights and I said, oh man. Like I said, it's one of those things that I haven't seen it, of course. I just saw the trailer like everybody else did. And I don't think Amanda and I have talked about it. But it's one of those things that I'm like, I have to go into it objectively. But oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Why are they kids? Why are we doing this show? Like, what's going on? Does the CDW know things about fandom that I don't? Like, as far as tapping into the market, what people want?
It's a great question.
Yeah. I don't know. Omar's going to use that. No. Like, maybe. All right. Anything else?
Right. Nope. That's all the news for today. And all our review-a-thon is done.
Yeah. Thank you, everybody, for joining us for this last-minute Sunday show. It was a lot of fun to do it. And thank you, Amanda, for being flexible and jumping on a Sunday. And Father's Day. Happy Father's Day, everybody. Hit that like button. You go ahead and end it, man.
Sounds good. All right. Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. And remember to follow us on all of our social media channels at nearmintcon. Remember to check us out on Spreadshop if you want to get some great near mint condition merchandise. And also check us out on Patreon for $1 a month or more. You can support our channel and all of its glory. And then, of course, last but not least, if it's classy and cool, it must be near mint. Good evening, everyone, and good journey. And we will see you all Wednesday to talk about the season finale of Obi-Wan and, of course, the next episode of Ms. Marvel.
It could be
Not Umbrella Academy. Give me some time to binge that.
It could be the greatest show ever. The ending
Our
of
show or Obi-Wan season
our
finale?
show is great all the time. Obi-Wan